first thing we need to do is set up our plant flat. This is just a regular kind of nursery plastic plant flat that you would get at any kind of grow place that you buy plants. And you'll see that it has really big holes in the bottom of it. We want this because we want drainage for our plants whenever we're propagating them. We don't want the roots to rot, but we do also need to make sure that the soil stays in. So for that, I just like to use old magazines. If you had a textbook that you couldn't, sell back, and you're a little bitter about it, I guess you could probably use those pages too. And we're just going to put a nice layer on the bottom of this flat so that eventually it'll start to break down a little bit, but we really just want to make sure that that soil doesn't fall through whenever we're propagating stuff, whenever we need to move our trays around. So we've got this nice little just single layer of paper, and I usually like to do like 2 pages or 3 pages in each set that you're putting down. And then we're going to add our soil mix. The soil mix that I've made for this particular experiment is 50% sand with some nursery rock, and then 50% some kind of potting mix that has perlite in it. The perlite is the white rocks that you see that's in there. The lava rock is the red stuff. And we like this because the plants that we're propagating today are kind of succulent-y, and so they don't really like a lot of moisture on their root base. I'm going to kind of even this out, and you want to make sure that you still have a little bit of a lip. I usually use my fancy tools like this. Just measure like the top part of your knuckle, and that's how much space you want between the rim of the top of the plant flat and your soil. And that's going to be for water space because you're going to need to water this flat in. In our case, we're doing 3 different plant types today and 2 treatments. So I have one flat that's already set up, and this other one, I'm going to use these dividers. This was like a kind of landscaping fabric thing. You could probably use anything plastic though, if you have a milk jug laying around. Even waxy cardboard might work. We're just using it as a divider to separate between the kinds of things that we're doing today. Okay, so we got our dividers in, and then the next very important thing is you need to make labels. So this one says jade, snake, and aloe because those are the 3 plants we're doing today. And I have one labeled with control, so that one's not going to get any rooting hormone, and one labeled with IBA. And then the other important thing, so you put your plant, you put your treatment on there, and then the date that you've propagated something is also very important. So I'm doing this a little in advance from when the class is going to air, so it's actually the 21st that I'm doing this. And now your plant flats are ready for use. If your soil mix was really, really moist to begin with, then you don't need to add any water before you put your plant material in. If your soil mix was really dry, you probably want to add water to it so that it's just a little bit more saturated before you start putting your plants in.